Dun 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 dun. Down. All right, folks. Let's go ahead and give this thing a shot one more time. Let's see if we can go ahead and get this thing going just one more time. These silly live streams make it very, 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 very difficult. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and try and do this one more time. So previously, you saw me give it my best shot to revive yesteryear and revive the knowledge of what we all went through. And basically show you that the more things change, the more they stay the same. All you have to do is look at what happened in California this past weekend. And it should remind you all you need to do. You should have flashbacks of epic proportions. Folks, flashbacks, man, I'm talking about serious flashbacks. Remembering everything these sons of bitches did to us. I mean, seriously, folks, this is not normal, man. This is disgusting. It's a violation of everything that human beings should be able to count. I mean, my God, the level of depravity that the Democratic Party has exhibited. And it's really the party insiders, of course, that rig these things. And, you know, sadly, there are a lot of people, and they're really, really good people. Let's be fair, okay? They're really good people. They're just maybe not terribly politically astute. Maybe they're a little bit afraid to venture on the wild side, whatever. But they're stuck in that party, in their own mind, their own self-inflicted prison. They're not willing to pay the price. They're not willing to get out there and figure out what it's like to fight from the outside looking in. Obviously, everybody wants to be on the winning team. You go to sports, you want to root for a winner. You want to root for, winners everywhere you go. You feel like some personal connection, like some sort of like a shot of opium or shot of heroin or something every time you win. And the reality is that winning has to be redefined. We're going to need to look at a different way of assessing winning. Because right now we have been experiencing gaslighting on a level that is just unprecedented. I mean, the amount of gaslighting that occurred during the primaries and then during the general election, and now even to this day, as folks try to tell us that Russia did this and that, as folks are trying to somehow or another remind us that Russia somehow or another wrote the emails that the Democratic Party wrote. Folks, the Democratic National Committee is on fucking trial right now. The Becks are going after them for everyone. I mean, we've got so much evidence. It's just steeped, piled to the rim, piled to the ceiling and beyond with crap about these folks. It's not even funny. And people sit there, I want you to focus on the Republicans? How in the world can you focus on the Republicans? How? How can you focus on the Republicans when your own backyard is in such disarray? How can you focus on somebody other than your own shit? I mean, seriously, clean your side of the street, right? So we watched that whole experience. We all lived it. We felt it. And I'm telling you right now, there were a lot of really, really good, hardcore Bernie supporters that wouldn't support anything to do with him or the Democratic Party as a direct result of the shit they pulled. Now, given Seth Rich's situation, given the fact that Bernie one day was on fire and the next day meets with Obama and not on fire, and there is Seth Rich dying, folks, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You should know this about me. None of this crap. I don't dive into that crap. I just acknowledge the truths that are there in front of our faces. But we got Kim.com getting ready to release a bombshell. We had the entire WikiLeaks. I mean, God, Do you remember weeks, months of people unpacking and repacking and unpacking more of the Podesta files? I mean, folks, we have more truths to look at. Now, to ignore what we know would be a travesty to ourselves. Forget anyone else. To ourselves, the mental abuse of taking back a cheating spouse or an abusive spouse or someone who hits you, domestic violence, whatever. That's what this is like. This is legitimate gaslighting, where they try and make you out to be crazy for pointing out the truth. The truth is that the Democratic Party is absolutely in no way, shape, or form progressive for any reason at all. There's nothing about it that is remotely progressive. And when you listen to folks like Bill Maher try to take Cornel West to the woodshed to try and beat his butt based on this idea that Hillary would be a lesser evil, you really have to ask yourself, what exactly would you define as a lesser evil? To me, the very notion that there are people out there that are getting away with peddling Hillary as a lesser evil, even now, is a true telltale sign of how much people choose to forget. They choose to forget. The gaslighting, the lies, the deception, the outright theft of our money, not our tax dollars, our donations to a cause that was never intended to be won. I see these folks, young Democrats in California. We have some on our team even. These folks are just now learning the facts. They're just now getting baptized into the evil that exists in the Democratic Party. They're just now getting used to it. They're just now experiencing it, maybe for the first time again. Because a lot of them have gotten to the point where they tried to really, really nastily beat people and bully people to come back to the Democratic Party. I mean, there's people out there, and I could name names, but there's not much point because you know who they are. You've seen them all around. You've seen them in the media. You've seen them on social media. You've seen them all over the place. These people that are sitting there doing their dead level best to make you not see what you see, to make you not hear what you hear, to make you not know what you know. They're trying to make you feel crazy for not supporting these charlatans. And it's coming, folks. Prepare yourself. It's coming. And it's coming, and it's going to come hard. The next wave of progressive saviors who get things done in the Democratic Party will come through. I don't know if it'll be Elizabeth Warren. I don't know who it'll be. But that next wave will come through again. And we're going to be expected to forget everything. And these people will genuinely come back around, and they will start berating you that you're going to fight against something that's a little less than what you want. That's not it at all. These people genuinely don't understand, or they've forced themselves to not understand. The idea that people to this day still don't understand the damage done by the Clinton balanced budget in the late 90s, going into 2000. The thing repealing Glass-Steagall and all the freaking crap that Bill Clinton put into place that Hillary celebrated. It was all neoliberalism. It was literally privatizing and diminishing the public sector. They're redefining government, okay, reinventing government, whatever. They sat there and literally cut the legs out. They freaking screwed welfare up beyond words. They sat there and did so many things that we are still paying for to this day. When you realize what the Clintons have done and what the New Democrats have done, and then there's people out there still celebrating that shit, we are in deep trouble, friends. And we've got to extract these people out of that party. We got to keep extracting them. And we got to extract them some more. Because, folks, I'm telling you right now, you don't have to like any of the policy prescriptions out there, or I shouldn't say policy prescriptions. I should say the strategies for leaving the Democratic Party. You don't have to like the Progressive Independent Party. I do. You don't have to like Draft Bernie for a People's Party. I do. You don't have to like the Green Party. I do. I like the Socialist Alternative. I like all of them. I like a giant hood, but I want to get people out of that Democratic Party so that we got a legitimate shot at taking on the establishment. And even if we lose, they have to reckon with us. They have got to reckon with us. But right now, unfortunately, you're watching as Donald Trump makes a mockery out of everything. He makes it real easy to focus on him. He does a lot of boneheaded, stupid, neocon bullshit things. His sales to Saudi Arabia, his bowing before the king, etc., all that aside, they make it very, very easy to ignore what Hillary Clinton is. Because what Hillary Clinton was is beneath the surface. You didn't see the evil as clearly as you do with Trump. Trump's a bloviating idiot. I would much rather see something coming barreling down the street straight at me and have time to jump out of the way but see my enemy coming than sit there and wonder what that thing is underneath the sheets biting my leg and realizing I just got bit by a snake, or crawling through the tall grass and getting bit by something. That's Hillary. Hillary is that thing. And she is so representative of the entire Democratic Party. No matter how many people try to get up in that party, each time they get co-opted, you've got to say praise for the bullshit. Look at this. Think about this for a minute. If we don't get this straight now, we're going to lose it in 2018. They're going to start putting more of these bullshit candidates up there. They're going to put more of them up there, and you're going to get all excited because you can't stand Trump. And it's going to be a repeat of the same shit. They're going to repackage it. They'll put some new cologne. They'll spray some friggin' Lysol on it to get rid of the shit smell. And that's what you've got. That's your new revolution, folks. If we don't extract them from the Democratic Party and force change. I'm not joking. I actually wish I was. You know, it would be easier if the Democratic Party were salvageable, wouldn't it? It's already there, right? That's the logic. It makes sense on the paper. Until you realize these people have no intention. They have got layer upon layer upon layer of bureaucracy built into their party at every level, state, local, national, you name it. They have made it so it is impossible to do anything there. So you got a choice. You can go along to get along, and you can keep fucking it all up, or you can take a chance, and you can take a step outside yourself, say, maybe I am not going to get everything I want right this second, damn it, but I'm going to work to build something better. Okay? And these are the things that we have to look at. We have to look at the larger picture, the larger left. And if we all unite, and I'm not telling you unite just for the sake of uniting, folks. I am not a milquetoast centrist. I do not support, thimble deep, shallow, friggin' clueless movie kind of friggin' revolutionaries. Okay, I have no interest in like the shallow thinkers. I can't stand pop music, sorry. And that goes with pop political people as well. I have a real struggle with the thimble deep folks that cry over nonsense. Okay, I want to make sure that we, as a movement, recognize that this shit is very serious. And if you go ahead and you leave the friggin' abuser, you walk away. You know how every time you watch a movie or something like that, you see the woman getting abused, you keep cheering her on to get the hell out of there? Get out of there, come on! And then all of a sudden the dude slips in and kills her in the middle of the night, and then you got a murder mystery. That's horrible. That's what's happening with the Democratic Party right now. Right now. These people completely full of Stockholm syndrome. These people are literally trapped in their own prison in their head. They believe this is all they've got. It is tragic. It is absolutely tragic. And you look at these folks in the Justice Dems. I mean, they're freaking pulling money in hand over fist. They're pleading for donations. Come on, come on, come on. Honest to God, folks, what have they done? What have they done? Every step along the way, the party has literally kneecapped them. And quite frankly, let's be fair, they're out there sitting there funding, from what I'm hearing, the defense of the DNC down there against the DNC lawsuit with the Becks. So whatever the fuck that is, I don't know, but this is the kind of shit, this fake resistance crap, that we have got to guard against. We cannot allow this stuff to co-opt us. Sadly, another strain of weird has entered into our domain, and that is the libertarian strain. Folks, we built this resistance, and we built our movement based on the Bernie Sanders platform and the Jill Stein platform. That combination is the winning ticket. Anything less than that is literally not helping us. That is it. That's the unifying platform. And I will tell you right now, if we don't have people boldly fighting for that, instead of claptrapping and backslapping about fight for 15, why the hell aren't we fighting for a living wage? Anybody ever ask that question? Why are we not fighting for a living wage? Why are we not fighting for far more than fight for 15? I mean, that's incrementalism. With all due respect to all the folks that are fighting for 15, that's incrementalism. Why are we not fighting for a living wage? I don't know if you've ever heard my analogy, but there's a movie. Guy falls into the creek in Alaska. He's falling down the rapids, riding along, and all of a sudden his foot gets stuck under a log. And his head is this far above the water. Like he can see over the water line, but he can't get his nose above it. And that's what the Democratic Party and that's what all these other groups are doing. These neo-libs are sitting there fucking keeping our nose right below the water line. Yeah, we helped you, all right. We need real change. Fight for 15. It's a feel-good story. It's incrementalism. We need a living wage with living benefits. And you're not going to get that in the Democratic Party. You're not going to get that with status quo thinking. And you're definitely not going to get that with status quo economics. You're not going to get that because people are afraid to ask for what they really need. Now imagine if the electric company called you on the phone and said, hey guys, we're going to go ahead and disconnect your electric if you don't pay $700. And you say, well, golly gee, I'll make a $500 payment. That's progress, right? And all of a sudden you're wondering why you're sitting in the fucking dark. Progress, that's claptrap, that's backslap, that's nothing burger. We need real substantive change. If you know that it costs enough money to freaking go to college, and it costs money for food, and it costs money for shelter, and it costs money for electricity, and it costs money for health care, and it costs money for every day you take off from work because you don't have paid family and medical leave, or you don't have vacation days, or you don't have any transportation, whatever. All these expenses start piling up. And then you see somebody say, well, we got to fight for 15. What are you trying to do? Shove everybody into a box? 15. Has anybody here ever tried to live on $15 an hour? I mean, seriously, I did for a minute, and it wasn't very successful. I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't very successful. We need to really make policies that work. And the Democratic Party has no interest. They always put lipstick on a pig. They always do it. And the people sit there and run around. We've got to support this. Oh my God, it's the greatest. And then if you don't support it, they gaslight you again. Well, I'm hoping that this latest event in California is enough to wake up these young Democrats these young people who just are just getting into the game, right? And all the other party sycophants and loyalists. I'm hoping that the people that actually are progressives take their stuff and get the fuck out. And help us actually fight to push real legislation that helps people. A party that actually stands against the war machine. Oh, we're talking serious shit. And unfortunately, these folks sit there and they always go like Bill Maher did with Cornel West. What? You want Trump? Hillary's better than Trump. This is the shit, right? You have no illusions that Donald Trump is not serving your needs. You know he's not. And that gives you something to resist, for real. But what happens, as we've said repeatedly, when a Democrat gets in office? What happens to the anti-war left? How many of these Democrats took to the streets when Obama bombed Yemen? I looked around, the streets were pretty fucking empty. How about when he was bombing Libya? Afghanistan? Iraq? Any of the other countries? Where were they? They were drinking their $7 lattes and they were hanging out. The limousine liberals were very, very happy with themselves because they had a Democrat in office. And that, my friends, is what happens when you get your Hillarys in there. So you want to talk to me about lesser evils? Look at these pussy hat wearing folks. They're out there in the streets, albeit for all the wrong reasons, like let's see Donald Trump's tax returns, not fighting for economic justice, tax returns. But hopefully, we can be inviting enough to those individuals that we can help extract them from the Democratic Party and bring them out into a true third party. Look, folks, I'm telling you right now, we need a coalition. Whether you're thinking draft Bernie, because there's a lot of people that will not leave that party for any other reason than Bernie Sanders, that's a great avenue for those. If you're thinking about coalition building, Eric Bloss and the PIP, Progressive Independent Party, great option. They're doing wonderful things. They're trying hard. Green Party, they've been around for a while. They got some infrastructure there. If they would stop being so damn rigid in what they are and start being more embracing of those other people, they could have already been the home for progressives. But instead, they would rather sit there, run around bashing and crashing every hero that these folks that they're trying to attract would ever love. And it makes them feel good, it makes them feel edgy, but it's costing them the right to be the home of the progressives. And that's a damn shame, because that would have been the fastest way. And people haven't done it. People haven't taken to it. So we've got to build a coalition. And we've got to get these folks out of the Democratic Party. And right now what I'm seeing, folks, is people waking up. I watched it. I'm telling you, I don't know if you all saw outside the California Democratic Convention, but the people were livid. They were told to shut the fuck up. They were literally ripped off. There is no way that California, of all places, voted in a big pharma guy to head it up. There's no way. There's no fucking way. None. But that's, again, the Democratic way. They have no intention of ceding power to any insurgent candidates, no matter how fair the election would be. They have no intention whatsoever of allowing a progressive to have a voice in the Democratic Party. Look at Lizzie. Oh, Lizzie Warren. Elizabeth Drug Warren up there, just sitting there quiet as a church mouse when we needed her most. But then she got into a tweet war with Trump, playing to the low-hanging fruit crowd. You know, the folks that thimble deep about their political knowledge? Those folks, she was out there tweeting, "You're bad, Donald. You're awful. You're evil, Donald." And that right there is the equivalent of resistance within the Democratic Party. That is it. Keyboard warriors. Bravo, Elizabeth. Bravo. And folks, I'm telling you right now, there was a point in time I would have probably supported Elizabeth Warren. His days are long gone. There's nobody over there. And I'm telling you right now, as an enlightened movement, if we don't embrace macroeconomic truth and we don't understand that the nation's not broke and we don't allow them, force them to spend on us, none of our plans are ever going to happen. Not one of them. Folks, I mean, literally, not one of them. So the Democratic Party should be an afterthought in everyone's mind that has a brain. We should be done. California, of all places, folks, failed. Actually, some might call it a success because you know what that did? It proved the Dem Enter strategy is not a winning strategy. It proved in spades it is a loser. Now, I say this to the good people that fought that fight. I have nothing against you whatsoever. I'm asking for you to help us build a party outside of the Democratic Party, build resistance outside the Democratic Party, fight for truth, and fight for our kids and our planet. We have no time to lose. And if we don't do it now, the opiate of the masses, the forgetfulness will set in. You'll have your built-in forgetter forgetting already. And you'll forget all this stuff ever happened. And it'll be as if it's the first time when they do it the next time. And the next time. And the next time. If you want to see real change, you got to do something different. You just got to do something different. And, you know, I look at this stuff and I think, how funny is this, you know? This is what they're bringing up, you know? Ultimately, you've got Hillary, who is just simply co-opting our movement yet again, who is just literally sitting there and playing us as chumps. She thinks you don't get it. She really does. This is no joke. She really does. And you know, as you sit there and you think to yourself, what would it take to actually get the Democratic Party to put a real progressive up there? All you got to do is look and see the kind of crap that they in fact think is effective. I mean, this is kind of nonsense, right? I mean, I don't know about you all, but I look at this and I say to myself, you know, we need to remember that we could have stopped this whole fiasco from happening. We could have stopped this entire fiasco from happening. But instead, the Democrats decided that they were going to go ahead and steamroll us, gaslight us, and try to trick us into believing that everything was going to be just A-okay. When the reality is that everything's not okay. Everything's absolutely not okay. And we can't get there doing the same thing we've been doing over and over and over again. Folks, at some point in time, you've really got to grow up and realize that there is no way to reform the Democratic Party. It's not that there is no way to make a party responsive. It's there's no way to make the Democratic Party responsive. And if you go back in time, way back in time, to the time of the Whigs, to the time of Abe Lincoln, and you realize that Abe Lincoln started the Republican Party as a direct result of massive disgust in the Whigs. And sure as shit, Abe Lincoln created the third party. We could do that now. That's the whole strategy behind Draft Birdie for a People's Party. And we got all sorts of other avenues that we can pursue as well within this coalition. I mean, this is not hard to understand, but it's going to take a lot of effort on all of our parts to realize that these folks are trapped. I mean, if you've ever tried to get someone to stop drinking, you realize that they're not going to stop until they're ready. But you also realize the same person will drink again. And you also realize that some are sicker than others. And in this case, some are more deeply trapped than others. Having lived a life where so much of my experiences and so much of my existence were dependent on the things that were told to me by friends and family as I was growing up, It's very easy to see how people can stay trapped in a party that doesn't suit them based on what mama said. My mama said, my mama said, pastor said, pastor said, pastor thinks that whatever. This is the stuff that we're up against. It's bigger than just smacking them in the forehead and telling them, get the fuck out of that party, stupid. That's not going to work. I wish it would. I really, really wish it would. But it won't. They need to be explained. They need to be loved through it. They need to be demonstrated. Each one teach one. Each one has to extract a Democrat from the party. And that's the only way we're going to do it, folks. Because they are trapped. It's almost like a sickness. They are literally suffering with an abusive relationship that they refuse to let go of. They keep thinking they can stop the cheater from cheating. They keep thinking they can stop the abuser from abusing. The guy that hits them, they think they can stop it and that maybe next time will be different. And it never is. And they're always abused. And it always ends up coming out exactly the same way. So with that, remember what we went through in the primaries. Remember every second of it, folks. Remember every election that was called before it got started. Remember 6-hour election lines. Remember limiting the polling places to nothing. Remember friggin' exit polls not matching the actual results. Remember the Nevada Democratic Party screwing us royally. Remember Bill Clinton showing up at polling places. Remember all the things that happened across the board. If you don't remember it, you're doomed to repeat it. You're doomed to repeat it, and I see the repeat happening right now. We have some people waking up. We need a lot more to wake up. We need an awful lot more to wake up. Folks, we got 140 people earlier watching this program, and that's great. That feels wonderful. There are millions and millions of people out there that are literally stuck in this duopoly. They don't think about it any more than they think about what color shirt they're going to wear for work that day. That's about the extent of it. You know, if they can fit in 5 minutes of news from mainstream media, they've learned enough about the world. And they vote because mama said. And they vote for a duopoly candidate because they see no value. It's too much work. They don't have more than the 5 minutes they devote to that mainstream media that they watch. So that 5 minutes is about all you got. And we need those people because they vote. And we need these people. This is the thing. If we don't do this, the voting system will not change. It will not change because the parties themselves will not change it. We will not get third parties on the stage if we don't have a massive movement out of the parties because the parties control it. They will not allow it. It requires us to do radical things to make radical change. That doesn't mean you burn it down. That doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater. It means you leave the abusive relationship behind, though, and you start one in a healthy way. So with that, folks, I'm Steve Crumbine with Real Progressives. Hope you all have a great night and help someone Deb exit today. Thank you.